Hello, and welcome to our presentation. My name is Luke, and I've been collaborating with Sarah, and today we're going to talk to you a little bit about the waterways of London and Southampton. Upon our first meeting, we spoke about where we are based and what our surrounding areas were, and quite quickly realised our connection to water was where our ties were strongest. We started to research the waterways around us, building on our existing knowledge of our cities. We discovered our rivers and cities were both steeped in maritime history and both still serving huge roles within our community today. So that became our topic of research, and that is what we'd like to talk to you a little bit about today.
By the late 18th century, London had become one of the busiest ports in the world, with the bustling maritime industry limited to quays and wharves along the River Thames. Records show that it could take up to 1 month for a ship to unload its cargo. The threat of theft from ships saw the loss of vast sums of goods. In fact, thieving was so bad that the first police force, Thames Police, was created in 1798 to combat the problem. Later, ships like the Cutty Sark was built to transport tea from China to London in 1869 and was the cutting edge of shipbuilding. She transitioned to the Thames Nautical Training College before retiring in 1954 in Greenwich for public display. Now she famously rests on the riverbank. More than 3,000 slaving voyages departed this stretch of the Thames towards Africa during the period of transatlantic slavery. Until the 1730s, London dominated the British trade in enslaved people. The closure of the Royals and other docks in London in 1981 led to massive unemployment and social problems across East London. Today, the Port of London does not see trade travel through the Docklands, yet it is forecast that between now and 2050, trade in the UK's biggest port will continue to rise to meet growing demand. Deptford Dockyard was an important naval dockyard and based on the River Thames in Greenwich. Operated by the Royal Navy from the 16th to the 19th centuries, it built and maintained warships for 350 years. It took approximately 140 men to build a ship. Workers were paid a basic rate, which was often supplemented by overtime during wartime. They were slow to introduce new technology. Engineers like Samuel Bentham tried to persuade them to introduce steam engines into the early 1800s, but it took until 1843 for the Woolwich Dockyard to manufacture and repair steam engines. With the evolution of shipbuilding turning to steel, the industry was moved out into the Thames estuary as it had insufficient space for manufacturing larger ships. With the flooding from Thames estuary affecting the water levels in London significantly, the erection of the Thames Barrier situated in Greenwich first appeared in 1982. Running across 520 metres, it is one of the largest movable flood barriers in existence. It is predicted that due to the rising sea levels, we could see it topped by water in 2070. The Thames is now predominantly used industrially by Thames Water to provide drinking water to all of London. The company collects, treats and returns clean water to the Thames. It is classed as the cleanest river in the world, with over 125 species of fish living in it. Moving on from the local history of the Thames, the river now offers current ways to travel, one of the newest being the Emirates 90-metre-high cable cars. It is attracting tourists to the local area, supporting local businesses including water sporting company Wake Up. Before this, locals relied upon the historic Greenwich Foot Tunnel. This is a 370-metre long and 15-metre deep cast iron tunnel, built and opened to accommodate the masses of ship workers in the area who relied on overcrowded ferries to make the short crossing to the Docklands. It remains open 24 hours a day. For the last 25 years, Londoners and tourists have been able to travel on the water with the modern addition of Uber boats. Commuters who once would struggle to find efficient ways to travel to the South Bank can now access multiple locations with the easy and reliable taxi service from Greenwich Pier. There are many maritime attractions throughout Greenwich, but the most spectacular of them all is the Cutty Sark, once a magnificent sailing vessel, the thriving museum is located in the ship's hull and was opened by Her Majesty the Queen on 2 occasions. Another famous ship that passes along the Thames is the Waverley. The last seagoing paddle steamer cruises iconically through the Thames estuary and down the river itself, stopping at Greenwich Pier. Tourists can board from over 60 locations. London also offers many local river cruises, permanently residing on the Thames. The clippers transport diners along the water past famous monuments such as the old Royal Naval College in Greenwich. With the Thames River activity now focused on leisure and tourism, there are many unique ways to enjoy it. London's speedboats offer an adrenaline-packed experience, while the company schooner offers a new and unique way to enjoy the river throughout East London with its hire of individual hot tub, igloo and barbecue boats. There are other ways that the Thames provide recreation opportunities for local communities in Greenwich. Wake Up, as mentioned earlier, serves locals in the unused docklands with water sports and activities. There has never been a time as vibrant as now for tourists on the Thames, especially in the local area of Greenwich, where the docklands were once overflowing with workers and tradesmen. The busy waters are now quiet, but very much full of life.
When looking at Southampton water, there's probably no better place to start than its port and its long-standing significance to the city. Southampton's identity as a port town stems from its historical role in trade and has been a major gateway for commerce in the region since the Roman times. This prosperity continued through Tudor and Elizabethan times when the city became one of Europe's most important ports. And although it faced a decline in the 18th century, losing a lot of its trade to London merchants, the development of railway links to London in the 19th century saw the city have a resurgence. This period also saw significant expansion at the port, with new quaysides being built and deep water channels added so that increasingly larger ships could access it. The Solent water also has a unique tidal pattern, a double high tide amounting to 17 hours. This provides an extra long opportunity for ships requiring deep waters to be handled in the port, giving great advantage to the port. Last year alone, it handled more than 2 million containers, rendering it among the top 15 largest ports in Europe. Southampton Port has also played a great role in serving the community over the centuries for employment. The port currently supports over 45,000 jobs, many of whom are dock workers, and one of them being my brother. It also contributes around 2.5 billion to the nation's economy every year. With Southampton firmly established as a major trading port, it was only natural that many skilled engineers were attracted to the city, which developed into a major shipbuilding centre. Southampton's Middle Ages saw significant shipbuilding, with the Grace d'Or, a warship for Henry V, being one of the most notable examples. And following the technological advances of the Industrial Revolution, shipbuilding and ship repair became a major industry for the city, benefiting from being close to the shipping lines. One of the most famous of these shipbuilders was the Thornycroft Yard, which remained on Southampton water for over 100 years, and for whom my granddad spent the best part of 50 years working for as a marine engineer. And by the mid-20th century, the majority of people in Southampton either worked in shipbuilding or at the docks. Nowadays, a lot of larger ships are built elsewhere, but the shipbuilding industry on Southampton's water is still hugely present. Through the production of luxury motorboats and yacht restorations, the industry continues to provide thousands of jobs for the local community, one of them being my dad, who's worked in yacht restorations for over 30 years. As well as its trade links all over the world, Southampton has long been considered a gateway city for people. If you've ever been to the city before, it may have well been in order to board a cruise ship, as it's been the launching point for many of these for many years, most famously, of course, being the ill-fated Titanic, which set sail from Southampton in 1912. The city's been the UK's dominant passenger port since the 1930s, and at one point Southampton was handling 46% of ocean-going traffic from England, often coined the Heathrow Airport of its day. Today it's still the largest cruise port in the country, welcoming around 2 million cruise passengers per year. And the cruise sector had made a record contribution to the local economy this year, with about 1 billion being generated for the Hampshire area by ships docking in Southampton. This has brought huge economic benefits directly to the community, as it's estimated half of the money generated by the industry stays in the region and supports around 14,000 jobs per year. However, a 2023 study shows that Southampton is suffering some of the worst cruise ship pollution in Europe, with just 45 ships being responsible for almost 10 times more harmful pollutants than all of the city's 93,000 cars. So when it comes to looking at the impact the cruise sector has on the community, there's certainly a discussion to be had for whether or not the positive it brings to the economy and revenue does indeed outweigh the negative brought through raised and harmful levels of pollution. Moving on to something on a considerably smaller scale, but arguably more important to the local community, is the local ferry services. Southampton is the terminus for 3 internal ferry services, 2 of which provide links to the Isle of Wight, offering reliable transportation for commuters who live on the island, as well as holidaymakers heading to the island from the mainland. The third being the Hythe ferry, providing passenger service to Hythe on the other side of Southampton Water, though its future is currently cast in doubt after a recent safety issue has seen the service come to a halt. The fear and speculation within the community is that the service will be suspended indefinitely, which will undoubtedly have a detrimental impact on thousands of commuters in the local community. Southampton Water not only serves its local community through trade and convenience of passage, it offers a great deal of recreational opportunities too. The water is an extremely popular area for yachtsmen because it offers sheltered cruising and leisurely exploration in nearly all weather conditions. You'll also find activity centres located all along the river, offering a wide range of exciting water-based activities for all ages and abilities. So whether you like to try your hand at paddleboarding, kayaking, or even sailing, Southampton Water is the perfect place for you to indulge your passion for life on the water.
Thank you for taking the time to view our presentation. We hope that you found our research interesting and knowledgeable. We have enjoyed working together to explore our own local waterway systems and its history, and sharing it with each other. We've found similarities and connections to the 2 locations through this subject, as well as learning about some new and unique facts. Working together on our presentation has allowed us to broaden our research and communication skills, as well as offering valuable experience in design collaboration. Thank you.